point of view. Defections, what does that mean? The unopposed and how many they are, and what it means for those parties that have not registered any unopposed candidate. But the crossovers, why do people cross over at this time from one political party to another? Is it stage managed, or is it a real turn of conviction on the part of those who have been seen? Of course, there's been a lot that has also been going on in terms of the violence that has been cited across the country, especially against the National Unity Platform. Why is that deliberate scheme being propagated, especially by the security agencies? I'll have a cross-section of panelists who will be helping us with perspective and insight. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me begin with Anderson Burora. He is NRM candidate for Nakawa West Member of Parliament position, and of course he will be battling it out with formidable forces there for that position. Later we shall be joined by Kasim Kamgisha. He's a mobilization coordinator in Kigezi sub-region. We also hope to be joined by Simon Mulongo, an NRM mobilizing coordinator for Bugisu sub-region, as well as Habib Buembo from the National Unity Platform. You're welcome to Morning at NTV, Mr. Brora.
Thank you, sir.
Great. What is the political temperature in Nakawa West?
The government of opposition in Nakawa West seems to be falling in 2026, according to the terrains there, according to the discussions that we are holding with the residents, correcting our mistakes in the past as a party, and also making sure that we improve the services that is within the promises. Some promises that of course can be done are being that can be fulfilled are being fulfilled. And yes, there will be a hit, but I think that hit won't affect us much generally like it has been in the past. We have been able to undo the lies. We have been able to sensitize the people who have in the past not followed critically the reasons as to why they vote. We have been able to explain to them how things work, and how those who blame government have not done their part, thus failing government, because government works in structures. If those structures don't function, it means government won't function. So in the past we've had leaders who are not interested in service delivery, but are interested in playing their politics. They are interested in not paying attention to details as to how things flow down, but they're interested in making sure that they advance their political agenda. So we have been trying to tell people that in as much as you want the politics, you want the service first. So whoever comes to you should be service oriented. We have had enough of the politics, we have had enough of the opposition. That discussion is still now. Let us go back and focus on service delivery and how best we can address the challenges of the constituency. And that seems to be working out. It seems to be making rounds in our electorates, because right now, for example, I had a discussion with some young people in Chihuahua who were so heated up, and they seemed to be all over but nowhere at the same time. Whatever they were trying to blame the government for, say, I reached and said, I'm 70 to Sovala Mwaka. Said, why? Said, young man, the president as a country generally we all demand about 4 things. We demand for electricity, which is general for all of us. We demand for water, we demand for roads, we demand for security. All the 4 you have. This Mwara is for your mayor who is of your political orientation, your councillors and the others. So don't blame the president for Mwara. Blame the president for not having electricity, for not having peace to do your business, for not having water, for not having the infrastructure. So some things are illusions, some of them are myths, and we have been able to disentangle some of these things. And I think come 2026, we have given them enough time. We have given them time to discuss, to talk. We are doing mobilization based on man to man. this time. We are not just putting up posters. We are doing man-to-man, we are doing door-to-door, we are doing where we hear challenges, where there are issues. And I think since we are running an issue-based campaign, we are doing so well, and I can promise you 2026, it shall be a different story.
Great. Nakawa West is home to very many urban poor people.
True.
And the Daily Monitor today on page 6 has a story, and the byline is Jacinta Maria Kanyangi. 40,000 across the entire Kampala and its metropolitan areas. Nakawa West should be accounting for at least a quarter of that in numbers. And
a quarter of what?
Of 40,000
of what?
Urban dwellers in the slum areas.
That's little.
That's little.
I have 13 parishes. All of them are peri-urban. Some of them have an upscale and lower scale. Major of them are 6. The 6 are Banda, Chiwature, Bukoto 1 and 2. We have Naguru, Chanja is somehow, okay, you can say half of it, and the other half.
So merging out of that.
So all of them, we have a total number of voters of about 170,000. But the 6 make 144,000.
144,000
voters, not residents. But all of the 6 I have mentioned about have the biggest slums. Each of them, 80% of Naguru 2, for example, is a slum. The entire of Banda almost is a slum. Chiwature has about a whole village which is the biggest, called Barintuma, which is a slum. We have Bukoto 2, which has the second biggest, which has a village called Mulimira, entirely a slum. So we have, I think, we have an upscale, we have lower scale, we have a very big spot.
I want you to listen to commentary that has been quoted here in this article in the Daily Monitor about the children that grow up in these communities. Veyani Kirausi says poverty in the slum is not just economic, it is structural. Poverty steals everything: dignity, safety, and children's future. He argues that the education system inherited from the colonial structures was never designed to uplift the poor. Dreams are expensive and scarce. Some university graduates even returned to the slum, defeated by a system that prepared them for disappointment rather than success.
I agree.
The challenges are enormous. The challenges are deeply rooted. When you speak about the politics of the day being one thing that you've been able to overcome and that you're going to be focusing on service delivery, one who does not understand the politics of this country might be inclined to believe that what you're saying is true, but it isn't. What should change in your approach, but most importantly in the approach of the government?
Well, we have so much to undo, even our policies, because our education system, for example, when government was coming up with the UPE, USE, we are trying to tackle the issue of illiteracy. Can we have a population that can read and write? That was our biggest burden. And because we are trying to fight illiteracy, we didn't go much into vocational training. We didn't go into a skills-based education system like it is in other countries. We didn't go into deeply rooting our challenges into finding solutions. I don't want to relate our economy to that of China. But if you look at the challenges, how China overcame poverty, illiteracy, and competitiveness to the global standards, it put so many people across Europe, across America, to go and study skills, to go and study science, to go and study different things into factories, into different ventures that China had not gotten involved into. Decades later, they got back all of these people into the country, gave them responsibility, gave them assignments, gave them the money to make sure that they implement what they had learned outside China. That gave them results. So as Uganda, we have had so many challenges in our past. The steps we have taken so far are so eminent that now they are demanding. Yes, for example, I was telling some of our older persons that when government came, you demanded for sleep. The government was there simply on an account of they can now sleep. Later, we went on an account of now we are educated. Now, we are demanding what do we do with our education. Government alone cannot accommodate all these people. And actually it shouldn't, because you cannot have one functional sector. The other sector we could be looking at is the private sector. Is the private sector functional? Now, where we have a challenge, and this is my personal observation, is that we have prioritized the politics, that it is the biggest venture that is attractive economically at the moment. We are promoting, I was arguing with some people that you see, if you want to see corruption, you see the way our infrastructure is set. Our our superstructure and economic base are all moving in parallel lines. They are not commensurate with what should be on the ground. We are not investing in factories, because whoever is getting money is building an apartment that consumes, but it does not contribute towards job creation. But it is just absorbing those few who can afford to stay in them. Who is investing in manufacturing? Who is investing in production? Who is investing in factories? Because these are the key ventures that one, they promote the gross domestic product, the GDP. What are you producing? We are inviting Chinese and foreigners to come and bring money. But what is our money doing? What are Ugandans doing? We are building arcades. Something that is good for the infrastructure, beauty of the country, but manufacturing is involving in production, involving in making sure that we absorb, we can produce and send to the markets. So the few challenges to me as Anderson, I think we need to review, we need to rethink, we need to refocus our country. We need to see more people getting involved in production. We need to have an intention actually, because these graduates, we are educating them to do what? Where are they going to get jobs? Yes, we can brag that we have so many universities. That is good. We have the children are going to school, but we need to set an agenda that whoever comes here has another step they are going into, and after there we need to build that chain intentionally. And I think as government, that is why recently the president has been securing industrial hubs across the country in all regions.
I was just about to ask you the question. Over the last 10 years, the president has been intentional on rolling out what you say, the industrial hubs. There's also the presidential skilling initiative.
Yes, that's what I was coming to.
Which appears to be designed to address some of the challenges as you put them. But on the political front, this has come into a bit of trouble, often seen as an overly political initiative than actually industrial.
We have built our political systems not on foundations of the country's needs. If you look at the politics of other countries, if you go to, for example, UK, you have Workers' Party, you have Labour Party, you have this party. Political parties are structured on the national demands. People address, advocate, legislate depending on the country's foundations, not the politics. We are here sloganeering, but if you look at the foundations, for example, of France, of UK, of America, they are the left wing, the right wing, the center this, the center that. You would find that it was hard for example, the Workers' Party would just come up to advocate for the rights. The Labour Party would come up to address the rights of the people. Why shouldn't we have minimum wage? How should we what? If you want to see the inefficiencies in our economic system today, I can go direct and go to the manufacturer. If I want hardware stuff, I can right away go to the producer of cement. I don't want to make name, and I purchase directly. In some countries, this is not allowed. It's not acceptable. You must have agents who you distribute to. These agents also in those regions also distribute to others in order to create spaces for different people who want jobs. All factories now have outlets. This is unacceptable. Because I have a shop somewhere in Ntinda, I am selling your products at a rate that is on a commercial rate, and for you, you have another outlet nearby that is selling on factory price. How can we have the same customers? Where are we going to get the jobs? Where are we going to have these people actually employed that we are producing? But because we are focusing on the politics, you go to Ntinda, I have been going through all of these industries in Ntinda, they all have outlets. But so you have a supplier, you have a dealer, you must have an agent, all of these centers are creating jobs for different people, are giving livelihood. So all of those things, I think we need to refocus and rethink our politics. Our advocacy and legislation should go back into making sure we curb some areas to make sure we create spaces for others so that they can also earn a living.
And that is where I want to be very specific, especially with regard to how it can be achieved. You are a member of the National Resistance Movement, and a very vocal one at that. You are also an ardent supporter of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Away from the fact he's the chairman of the NRM and president of the country. You admire the man as an individual. And his political science convictions. How does it rest with you that within the system that is hard on sloganeering is where you operate, a system that is superintending over the inconsistencies of a superstructure like you describe it is where you are seated? How do you reconcile your beliefs and your political convictions?
I think politics and national business is not centered on an individual. We can have a CEO on the top, but we must have intentional other people who are willing to foresee some of the things, who are willing to get out of the comfort. That's why I have never been in my comfort. Even when I had to, I have always gotten out in the rain, in the sun, in the night, in the all circumstances. So as a party, as the NRM, the president has always been intentional. But I think he has lacked people who can interpret his mind and implement it. Our civil service is one of the areas also that has let down the country because they want to run a budget of, they want to run a consumption budget. Create this here, create this here. In COVID, we revised the budget. Genocide did revise the budget by pulling out some of the activities because of COVID that were there, like travels, per diems, hiring of hotels. Can you imagine that in the entire budget, he found a wasteful expenditure of about 5 trillions. We have been running an uncoordinated government business. Ministry of Works, Ministry of Water, Ministry of the Energy, all of them that should be working in the same spaces. In the past you have seen them, today electricity comes and digs a hole here, the Ministry of Works come and passes a road here, the other day Ministry of Water comes and digs through the road that was constructed a week earlier. All of these miscoordinations have been giving us a very big burden, and I think some of us are coming up to make sure that we review. We are coming up to as a fresh mind. We have had our parents, when Mzee was getting nominated for the party primaries, he said, I am here to escort the parents and their children into the next term of office. Meaning he's creating spaces for all of us. And I as a brother and a few colleagues who are coming up, we are coming up with fresh minds, we are coming up with fresh ideas, and we are going to review. We are going to have an intention of reviewing partly party policies, but also contributing to the national policies that for long we think they need an overhaul.
Thank you very much. What do you think about the Electoral Commission's current handling of the process in the run-up to January 15th?
I think it's good for the voters. In the past, the voters have made decisions and courts have overturned them. This time we have an opportunity to have the right people in the right positions standing before we go into an election. We need to come out of an election once and for all. The idea of having by-elections, it is wasteful, not only to the voter, but also to the commission. Because every time they run a by-election, it incurs a budget. And I think at the moment we shall have to deal with issues of electoral malpractices, like voter bribery, of which I think it will be on a very, very minimal scale, because in the past it has been addressed. So this time the Electoral Commission, I think, is doing a very good job to deter some of the issues that could come up later. The complaints before, we had the people, they have their reasons to be heard, but they get heard at a very, they get heard late when there is already time wasted, resources wasted. So I think this time, by the time we get out of an election, if we are to have about 15 by-elections, we shall have 1 or 2 emanating from the processes, but not from the inadequacies or the failure to follow this or to see this or to address certain matters. So to me, the Electoral Commission is doing a very good job. For as long as it is doing it within the rights of the law, I think it should continue. It should always do that. After nominations, take time to hear some of the petitions and the issues coming out of the contestants, then go into an election having the right people in the positions for the voters to decide, making decisions on the right persons. I'll
be returning to that particular issue, but we are joined on Morning at NTV by Habib Buwembo, the National Mobilizing Secretary of the Opposition National Unity Platform, to be part of this conversation. You're most welcome to Morning at NTV, Mr. Buwembo.
Thank you so much.
Great. You found Anderson Brola giving what appears to be a very cautious opinion of the Electoral Commission, given the controversies and the developments the electoral body has found itself in, especially in the last 2 weeks. I would be requiring your opinion on that, but first and foremost, just give us an overview of what the National Unity Platform's mobilization strategy is rolling out across the country.
Thank you so much. You know, we are in a busy schedule of campaigns. We are in a general election. All of us, we are very busy in the fields. One, mobilizing the voters and, of course, selling our manifesto to them so that at the end of it all, we get voted in. That is to start with the big seat, the seat of the presidency. We are working around the clock to ensure that at least we make every Ugandan understand our cause, get to understand our manifesto and buy into it, and vote in our presidential candidate, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi. And with him voted in as the president, we shall be working around building a new Uganda. And with that new Uganda is coming with a lot of developments. We have promised having our children going to school, study for free from nursery level to university level. That is very possible, and we have had a plan to Ugandans of how we are going to make it. I've heard my brother talking about electoral malpractices, which involves bribery, and of course, which promotes corruption. We have a good plan on how we intend to fight down corruption. Besides mobilizing for votes, we've been mobilizing for the party entirely. You understand that the government halted the money we are meant to get from iPod. We've been mobilizing funds to support the party activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is down to the ability of the party to sustain operations and be able to conduct an election where it's on a level ground, party stability. Talking about party stability, I'll stay with you briefly on this before I can transition on to the topic of the Electoral Commission. There has been reported defections across the country where some NUP supporters have been seen to make that significant leap from opposition onto the national resistance movement. It's a familiar script that plays out in every election cycle, but it is the list of things that the National Unity Platform needs right now. How do you strategize in the face of frequent defections being seen by some of your members, which also comes on the backdrop of your inability to field candidates in certain constituencies across the country while the NRM is registering unopposed candidates?
Yeah, this is a shame to Electoral Commission, because Electoral Commission is supposed to manage the entire process we are in, that is the process of elections. When you hear that a certain party has compromised a candidate of another party, that is a shame if Electoral Commission cannot fail it, because compromise is an act of corruption. When we talk about electoral malpractices, this should also be condemned, compromising candidates. Because
what do you mean compromising candidates? Can you be more specific?
Yes. Haven't you heard that some of the candidates have been paid off?
I don't have evidence to that. So if you have evidence, maybe you can clearly state.
Yeah, we have the evidence that most candidates have been either paid off or coerced. Take an example. In our candidate in Rampala, that is candidate Jean, she was first arrested. After being arrested, then they started intimidating her that if she doesn't pull out of the arrest, then she will not be released. That is coercion. And of course, it has to be condemned because it is part of either corruption or human rights abuse. Then some of the candidates, take an example, a candidate in Bushenyi, he was representing us in a constituency of Igara East, he was given money between, it is alleged that he was given 200 million to pull out of the race. All these acts have to be investigated by Electoral Commission. When we put the allegation or when it is heard anywhere, the Electoral Commission has to interest itself and investigate the matter and comes out with a solution if we are to have free and fair elections.
Okay.
Some candidates were also intimidated in a way for arresting either their relatives or their closed ones. Take an example, in Bukedia, we had a candidate who was intimidated by an arrest of her mother. And she was phone called that if you don't withdraw from the race, then we are going to do something wrong on your mother. And of course, she had no option. She had to pull out of the election. All these acts have to be condemned, and we stand strong to condemn them.
Okay.
You said that we failed field candidates in some
there are constituencies where there is no NOP candidate.
We have always been saying it loudly that some of our candidates were they failed nominating them on grounds which were not clear. There are some instances where they said the people who, the voters who seconded or proposed our candidates were not registered voters. You've had such a number of cases of that kind. So we had candidates across all constituencies in the country, but some were failed unclearly getting nominated.
Mr. Brora, the national resistance movement has often found itself under wide criticism, especially in the mobilization strategy that many of its powerful candidates do employ. In Bukedea, for example, in the run-up to the nominations, as he has alluded to and widely reported, there was a case where the Electoral Commission officers, in what appeared to be connivance with the Uganda police, barred some people from accessing the nomination center. What conversations occur within the NRM corridors when such incidents are reported? Because it was evident, recorded on camera, there were blockages that were conducted by the security forces.
Thank you. First of all, I want to go back a little bit on the issue. The allegations made by the opposition that whoever crosses to NRM is either paid or coerced and what. How much was Mr. Buwembo paid to defect from FDC to NUP? Was he paid, or he cautiously chose to decide which party he goes to? I think the demoralization and character assassinations that are addressed to the NRM in that regard is it is still, as of now, that one has a right, another doesn't have a right. Secondly, in politics, mobilization and demobilization are key. I have so many young people, hundreds of them today, who support me, but they are NOP, or they are formerly NOP, but they have crossed back to NRM. There are some I reached to and said, Honorable Brother, tukwagalanga omuntu. Nyenda kuwa akalulu, akange, nebirala tokola ki, tongamba.
What does that mean?
Like they will vote for me, but on other positions, I can't choose for them. Or that they support me, that they will support everyone who is in my line. Those people are there. And some of them are bold to say it boldly that I am NOP, but I support Borola. It is their right. Demobilization in politics.
Both are they also.
But why do I have to buy?
And
how many will I buy?
Why
will I buy?
Them?
You see, Buwembo, it's being unfair to yourself, but also finding solace is okay for you. But Ugandans should be given a benefit of doubt that at an opportune time they also choose exactly where they belong.
I mean, at the end of the day, change of mind is pretty much very natural, and it does happen. That's why I was very insistent on the fact that if there is evidence that somebody was bought but for 200 million Uganda shillings,
but
we
why?
shall be...
Let me tell you. You
can present it.
Hold on.
Yes.
You can't say that someone who did not even have nomination fees is worth 200 millions. Some things don't pass the test of logic. And I don't want Buwembo to give himself or even his party to give itself importance that it is too much, that it is that expensive. Sometimes, why would you give 200 millions to a councillor, for example, or even to there are issues. Usually we sit and talk about things, we enlighten ourselves, and we think of our positions. But I think one of the things that the NRM has given this country is the laws. The laws are there. Always people have been given an opportunity to appeal or to get where they can find a solution in case they have been defeated on one platform. The issues of Bukedia, the issues of where, these are all issues that are within the law. I saw the clip you are referring to. But the Electoral Commission came out, I think if I am not wrong, the Electoral Commission came up to explain that it had allocated candidates their time of nominations.
Is that even legal?
That is, yes. Because when you are going for nominations, you don't go on that day. We all went prior. First to verify our documents, second to verify the seconders and what. And they would ask you, because in some areas, they did not want people to clash, most especially supporters. You have come, he has come, we are all congested. We are allocated
to be specific, and we shall be going into a break very shortly. To be very specific, this particular nomination had only the two candidates at the time in the run-up to that contested day. And for one to be nominated and then the entire day, the other was not allowed, was really unbecoming. But we shall continue this conversation and offer insight on it after the break. Do stay with us. Kickstarter does continue. We are talking candidate defections, party weaknesses, and a lot more as we head into January 15th. The youthful Ugandans, as they do wait on their presidential candidate, who will be addressing them a little bit later. They speak about pertinent issues, but there is also what appears to be a disconnect between the understanding of what is available and how you can access it. And many times the youth do find themselves in that particular confusion. Allow me return to the studio and talk candidate vetting and institutional credibility with Mr. Anderson Brora, an NRM mobilizer and candidate for Nakawa West. I have with me also Habib Buwembo, the National Mobilizing Secretary of the Opposition National Unity Platform. We are talking credibility of institutions. The controversy surrounding candidate Walukaga and candidate Rashandi, these are the two cases that have been juxtaposed. One considered okay, the other not. What I want to put to you as a question, both of you, is the National Council for Higher Education must be the final arbiter. Especially when it comes to verification of documents that the Electoral Commission requires. It is not the Electoral Commission that will determine or stretch the credibility of any one document. The question must be one and simple. National Council of Education, does this document qualify as an equivalent or not?
National Council also consults from UNEB. because UNEB is the custodian of all qualifications.
So do you think UNEB can lie to the National Council for Higher Education?
Yeah, without, you see, all of these things, that's why they are investigations. Someone can, through the system, maybe do what? Through the system, one can beat the system to make it clear. But for the issue of Walukaga, I think it's done and dusted. I don't think there is something new he will get from court. This is an aptitude test. An aptitude test is an admission for you to go. What will make you a qualification is where you have been referred to. So I think the excuse, and I think that will be also a very, very bad precedence if the courts and the Electoral Commission overturned the ruling, because now that will be a clear manifestation that aptitude tests are qualifications.
No, these are judges. If this case is before a court,
yes,
and it is concluded as such, that is the wisdom and understanding of a judge.
That is going to require another law, because you are going to have a flood of so many people failing to go through the system and going for the easy one. It will be a very unprecedented decision for our education system.
No, I don't.
So, and I think, before you interject, the Electoral Commission gave its reasons, though they don't give us the discussion. In its ruling, it says, we conducted this and that and that and that and that meeting. Meaning, in all of those meetings, National Council's decision was revised, UNEB might have guided, and so many stakeholders could have given their opinions. So I think going to court, even if court overturns that, I'm telling you, it is going to be a very unprecedented decision for our education system. So many people are going to come up and claim to have this as a qualification. So the laws are there, the judges are there, but certain things are done in the national interest. They are not done for individual interests. If we start going into legislation for individual interests, then we are going to lose the point. And I think for this, Mr. Walukaga, I don't see him coming up with a different opinion or decision.
I won't ask for the way forward that the National Unity Platform has for this Walukaga case, but I'll put you on the spot on your vetting system and transparency thereof. It was widely publicized. It was celebrated as one that an opposition party had taken on this particular way of doing things. How did you miss the details?
First of all, I want to arrest the worries and fears of the electorates of Busiro East that their candidate is being fired out of the race. Walukaga is still a candidate as of now, after him having taken a decision of appealing in the High Court. Then the decision of EC is now halted until the court pronounces itself. Then I want to assure the country, if court can stand independent and it does its work fairly, Walukaga is qualifying and will be voted by the people of Busiro East to Parliament. The decision of EC, I think EC it did not use its mandate. EC has no mandate, has no duty. It does not qualify to verify someone's academic documents. That is more important when the National Council for Higher Education has already pronounced itself. The law requires a candidate to be in possession of a USE certificate, that is a Senior 6 certificate, or its equivalent. And when you go in the details of the laws, who provides the equivalent? It is not every institution you attend. You can attend an institution, you acquire a certificate from there, or a diploma, or any kind of any level of document. Who issues out the certificate of equivalence? That is National Council for Higher Education. So National Council for Higher Education, in the case of Honorable Walukaga, it issued out him that certificate. And it is that certificate that he presented before NUP, NUP committee, electoral committee management. So when you ask that, don't you think that your committee failed on its duty?
Let me ask you.
It did not.
Habib, one
Like
question.
national.
Let me ask you one question.
Very quickly.
If I go for a driving lesson and I pass the test, does that by law allow me to go on the road before I secure a driver's license?
Not at all.
So equally here, this test was there for him to advance to another stage.
Yes,
it was not there
he
to
acquired
allow
the certificate
him.
after doing
No,
the
it's not a
exam.
certificate.
Your driving test is the test that he wrote.
We don't even
and
need
he
to argue.
passed and he was issued.
You can't say that a test is a qualification.
It's interesting.
It
Well,
was
you can
issued a
admit you,
document.
but it's not a qualification.
It is a qualification.
No, no, no.
The logic
It is
doesn't
a
matter.
qualification. And
Why
it
should it
appears.
admit you if it's not a qualification?
It is not a
See, there are
qualification.
exceptions that were made. That is why it is called mature entry.
Whatever the name is.
Mature entry means someone lost time for some reason.
He was disadvantaged. The environment never allowed him acquiring the...
But they want
So
to
they
advance
create
to
a
another
special
level.
exam.
So you create a special exam for
If
them
they pass that
to
exam,
continue and
they
achieve.
are now
Yes.
eligible to
Yes,
advance.
but what qualifies you now is for you to go and complete.
No,
Let's leave that matter to court because it's before a court, and you know we shall be following very closely. Let me welcome onto Morning at NTV Kickstarter discussion Kasim Kamgisha. He is the NRM mobilizer for Kigezi sub-region and one who has been very formidable at that. You're welcome to Morning at NTV. I'm also told you're a doctor. Dr. Kasim Kamgisha, welcome to Morning at NTV.
Thank you very much, Chris. Good morning, NTV.
The vagaries of
morning,
technology
Uganda. Good morning,
don't
viewers.
allow me.
Chris, I'm very much delighted to join you this morning, and my colleagues, Comrade Anderson Burora, parliamentary flag bearer, and Comrade Buwembo. It's a pleasure joining each one of you, and hope to add a brick on our nation. Hello.
Are unable to connect through, but as soon as that is rectified, we shall be speaking to Mr. Dr. Kasim Kamgisha. Mr. Brora and Mr. Buwembo.
Yes.
The country finds itself in fits and starts in as far as building democracy is concerned, in terms of ensuring that our politics is first and foremost good enough for every one of us, but most importantly, transformational. There has been talk that what appears to be the advantages that the NRM enjoys are derailing the political trajectory of the nation. Many chose to move from a one-party system to multi-party system, but the odds are so heavily skewed against the opposition in favor of the governing party that questions are beginning to be asked on what exactly we are building. What's your take, Mr. Brora?
Well, I think one, multi-party systems are built on ideologies, are built on foundations of the superstructure of communities, are built on failures of some systems, are built on so many platforms. So I think the opposition, I have not seen any opposition that has been built on ideologies and the superstructure of the systems. It has been as a result of different groups disagreeing on the management of the system, of the party, that they have gotten into different fights. So even now, I think NUP is running a Bada campaign. It is running a Bada campaign that it also doesn't know what exactly is happening. Today, we have failed actually even to find the president of NUP serious in a national campaign, because the issues that we often see, that or even often see trending, are not the issues that actually should be uniting Ugandans. Because when you step on a platform and you say you attract the attention of what you call yourself into. If you step on a campaign and tell them we have these millions of Ugandans, we have these few security officers, we can overrun them, that is not in any way. It is the importance I told you earlier on, that they give themselves to think that you can just run over a system and get into power. So I think we shall get into a step of building serious systems, building serious political spaces and actors, when we get serious actors themselves. If you have a Bib who is abusing others, that by crossing into other political parties, they have been bought, but for him, he has liberty to go into about 5 political parties in 2 years.
They have to be arrested first, then they are released as a condition to cross over. I've given a scenario of Rampara and as an evidence.
So what legal, Mr. Buwembo, what legal, institutional and political reforms does the National Unity Platform intend to drive to reorganize the landscape for politics to be played out the way you want the NRM to play it for you, or allow you to play in?
Yes, first of all, we have enough laws that do protect the democracies of political parties. But these laws are just being violated. Why? We have a government that has captured all the institutions. It has captured the powers of electoral commission to the extent that even when the chairman Byabakama sees his candidates being beaten up, being tear gassed, being humiliated during the exercise of them looking for votes, cannot come out to do anything. That capture is what the problem in the democracy of
Thank
Uganda.
you very much. What I deduct from that is that first take away the regime that is responsible for that capture.
Yes,
and then begin to work on institutional
NUP
reform.
as a party, it is a revolutionary party. Day from morning to evening, we are planning on how to have Museveni out. Then we come on board to reorganize our country.
Thank you very much, Habib Buwembo, National Mobilizing Secretary for the National Unity Platform, Anderson Brora, MP, aspirant and the candidate for Nakawa West, I want you to continue that conversation in the corridor so that you can share perspective on exactly how the political landscape can be reconstructed, whichever government comes into power after January 15th. It's been a pleasure having your company here on Morning at NTV this Monday, the 12th of 15th must be of December. Now, as we have always said, the landscape is one that requires caution, especially for you, the voter. We urge you to exercise restraint, especially in the election campaign.